As a tutor, I have seen so many students struggle with the same type of Excel questions every year. So, in this video, I will solve the AS level IT Unit 2 2023 paper with you, explaining every step, every formula, and how you can turn exam stress into confidence. Stick around, the tips I will share by the end will save your marks in your next exam. So before going to that, if you are new here, hit subscribe. I post tutorials and past paper walkthrough that make computer science and IT a lot easier to learn. This paper is about 80 marks. Alright, let's begin with task 1. HTML is used to structure web pages. Give one reason why doc type is used as an HTML document. This question is all about HTML, the structure of the web page. This part usually seems simple, but it's a scoring area. So make sure you understand the why behind each answer. So the answer is, it specifies a version of an HTML, the stock type, that is used to ensure the page is parsed the same way by different web browsers. Next, the access key attribute specifies a shortcut key to activate an element. Figure 1 shows some HTML code including an access key attribute. So this is a figure 1. State why the value of access key attribute in figure 1 is invalid. So now access key is here and the value of the access key is B1. An access key value must be a single character, just one key from the keyboard. So here B1 is invalid because it uses 2 characters instead of only 1. So you have to press B and 1. So that's not going to happen. Describe a block level element. So you can think of a block level element as the one that starts on a new line and then takes up the full width available. It can also contain other block level or inline elements like you can have a div or a p tag, that is for paragraph. So an easy way to remember is block is nothing but it breaks the line plus the full width. So now let's look at the coding part. Figure 2 shows how a web page must be displayed in the browser. The HTML code should display the heading to-do list, display the paragraph, these are the tasks that need to be completed, display the nested list. So this is how your page should look. Question here is, the page does not display as intended because there are 2 errors in the HTML code. Open file q01c.html in the browser to identify the errors. Open the file in your editor, amend the code to correct the 2 errors, save your amended code as q1c finished.html. So here there are files, data files they will provide you during your examination. So over there they have mentioned once you open that zip file, you extract the zip file. And there is a file called q01c.html. Change the code, that has to look like this, the output has to look like this. And once you are done, then you have to rename the file with this name. So make sure you do that properly. So now let us run and check the code, how it's working. Let me go for the live preview. Okay, it is looking like this. It is not looking the one that has been shown in your code. So you need to do the changes accordingly. So now there is some problem with the to-do list here. So display the heading to-do list. We have to do it. So everything has been bold over here. So we need to just check with the first tag h1. See here. There is an opening tag of h1. There is no closing tag of h1. How did I recognize it? So if you just select the tag, that time it will highlight the opening tag as well as the closing tag. But over here when I look at it, there is no closing tag of h1. So this h1 is heading. So the heading is to-do list. So it has to end over here only. So yes. So this is the ending tag. Let's save this and then check the live preview. Yes, one part is done over here. Next, display the paragraph. These are the tasks that needs to be completed. So these are the tasks that needs to be completed. This has to be inside the paragraph. Is it? Yes, it is. So that is perfectly done as shown in the image too. Next, display the nested list. Okay, let's look at the list over here. First shows morning meeting, that is in the bullet point. That's all good. Set up the meeting room. That's good. 1 and 2. That's good. Arrange for refreshment at 10 a.m. After that, whatever coffee for 8, tea for 8, milk, sugar, sweetener comes, it should be nested list. But that is not given over here. Let's do that part. So let us add the UL tag over here. Hope it's gonna work. Yes, we are done over here, but you can still see there is an error. This HTML tag is not opened. After the doc type HTML, you can open the HTML tag. Yes, that's gonna solve everything. Let us look at the output for the last time. Yes, as mentioned in the image, everything looks exactly same. So now once you are done, you have to rename this file. So once I save it, you have to rename it as q01c finished.html once you get the output. Next question is, explain one difference between functional testing and usability testing when creating a web page. Finally, they did ask for the difference. Okay, so now here the simple way to remember it is, functional testing is just basically test if the web page works the way it should. For example, if the buttons and links are working properly or not. Usability testing is nothing but it just tests how easy it is for the users to use the page. It can be tested by other users for smooth navigation or clarity. In short, functionality is nothing but does it work? Usability is nothing but it is easy to use. Whether is it easy to use? So that completes the task 1. We have covered HTML structure, attributes, list and the basic testing types. These 8 marks are really straightforward if you stay accurate with the tags and clear with the definitions. Next, we will move into task 2, CSS styling, where we will apply colors, transitions and gradients. CSS is used by browsers to style HTML elements. Rules are created using CSS attribute selectors such as this and this. You have to use for the selectors. So here are the rules. Rule 1, image alternate B's, image alternate B's. Explain the difference between the rule 1 and the rule 2. So now selectors means what? Basically that will help you to select the images, but there are ways of selecting those images. So that is defined in rule 1 and rule 2. So let us understand about the rule 1. Rule 1 targets any image whose alternate attributes begins with B's. So while rule 2 targets any image whose alternate attributes ends with B's. So the key difference is the caret means the start with and the dollar means the ends with. Figure 3 includes the code for the navigation button. So this is the code. Line 7 and 8. Let's focus on these two lines. In figure 3 show CSS styling for the image on line 14. Okay. Describe the effect that the CSS code on line 7 and 8 has on the image. So now we need to explain line 7 and 8 effect on image, that is on line 14. So 7 and 8 code image hover opacity is 0.5 means 0.5. So that means when you hover the mouse over the image, it becomes 50% opaque, or you can consider it as half visible. So it gives you that soft fade effect. Great, that is great for interactive image buttons. So let's explain the same thing over here. A web page contains a square. The square must be centered horizontally. The colored gradients in the square must be purple, blue, and orange. When the user hovers over the color square, it must take 3 seconds to transition into a rectangle. Open file qo2c.html in your editor. Amend the CSS code to display the color square and implement the hover effect. Save your amended code to qo2c finished.html. So now here this is the task we need to do. Once you get the expected output, you need to save your file in this name. Let's open the file. So this is your qo2c.html. This is the code over here. You need to do the changes. They already mentioned over here where you need to do the changes. You have to just amend the code over there. Let's check the output first. So the square is not visible. First we have to bring that up. So let's add the code one by one. Add your code to center the shape across the page. So for that you need to set the margin of the square to auto. Now let us set the background image color. So they have mentioned the gradient color, that is purple, blue, and orange. And then there must be a transition. You have to set this transition time to 3 seconds. Let's call up the transition for 3 seconds. So now let's check the code. So here we have the square with the mentioned colors, and when we hover on it, it transitions for 3 seconds to rectangle. Yeah, please open the HTML tag here. So now go to file and then save this as. So you have to rename it as qo2c finished.html. Next is a web page contains a partially completed meal coupon that needs to be formatted using CSS. The completed meal coupon must have the image of the Caesars rotated 90 degrees, a dash border, a font size of 50 pixels for the text meal coupon, and then an italicized coupon number. So open the file qo2d.html in your editor, amend the code to complete the formatting of the meal coupon, save the amended code as qo2d, finished. This is the code qo2d.html. Here they already have a comments where it will guide you to write the code. Add your code here. So the first one over here is the image of the Caesars rotated 90 degrees. If you want, you can check the code output how it looks. So this is how it is. So the first thing, we do have an image of the Caesar here. We need to rotate it for 90 degrees. So you're transforming. So you write transform, then you rotate to 90 degrees. You can go and check the output. Yes, here we have the output. The first one is done. Next, a dashed border. So let us write here the border. I'll go for 2 pixels because it is not mentioned. So you can choose any pixel you want. Dashed. So I'm defining what type of border I want, and then I want it to be black. So let's check the code. So yes, we got it. Next, the font size of 50 pixel for the text meal coupon. So you need to change the font size here. Font size to 50 pixel. So in H1 tag already the meal coupon text is present. We are just styling for it. Let's check the output. Yes. Then an italicized coupon number. Over here you can go for font style italic. Let's save it and check the code. Yes, coupon number is italicized. So yes, so whatever they ask for, you are done with it. So you have to save the file as qo2d, finished. Yes. So that's task 2 done. 11 marks in total. We covered CSS selectors, hover effects, gradients, transitions, and layout styling. Remember, CSS marks are easy if you are precise with syntax and test your file in the browser before saving. So now we'll move on to task 3. JavaScript provides interactivity for web pages. Regular expressions can be used to validate user input. This is a regular expression. So this is the one. This regular expression would validate user input to ensure it matches this format. So if it is 4-digit, the number lies between 0 to 9, then you write this. 2 uppercase character from A, B, C or D, you write it like this. 1 or more of the character R, then you write R plus. 1 lowercase, you define it like this. The character F or the character G, you define it like this. So examples of valid input include, so these are the valid inputs the user can enter. Examples of invalid input are this. Give one reason why the input RO1ABTH would fail validation using the regular expression. So based on this expression, we need to validate this input and check why it would fail the validation. According to this pattern, it starts with uppercase R. Yes, we do have that. Followed by 2 digits, then 3 lowercase letters between A and R, then either H or M, then finally 1 or more upper cases. So RO1ABTH fails because the 6th character, that is T over here, is not between A and R. It breaks the pattern. So that is what you have to write over here. RO1ABTH. Give one example of an input that would pass validation using the regular expression. So you can try giving any input you want. So we can try with R, that is mandatory. Then there has to be 2 digits. So you can have any 2 digits like 0, 2. Then you need to write. Now I need to select 3 characters between A and R. So now A and R, here H or M should be there, that is your last character. So first 2 character you can choose. I'll choose it as AB. Then you have to choose either H or M. I'll go with M. Then A to Z, any one character you can correct. So I will go with the capital D. So I guess yes. Write a regular expression that will validate user input. It must ensure the input begins with 3 uppercase characters, is then followed by 2 digits, is then followed by 1 or more lowercase characters, is then followed by the digit 4 or 6. So let us break it down. Let us solve the first one, that is begins with 3 uppercase characters. We know that uppercase characters has to be written as A to Z in the square brackets. Then 3 digit, that digit you have to write it over here as 3. Then is then followed by 2 digits. It has to be followed by digits. So D, how many digits? 2 digits. Then this is done. It is then followed by 1 or more lowercase. So alphabet again, A to Z, it has to be 1 or more. So it can have 1 as well as more than that. So you just need to define the plus. Is then followed by the digit 4 or 9. So only 2 options are there, either 4 or 9. So this would be your regular expression for these given cases. Open Q03C HTML in your editor. The code must allow the user to input 2 numbers and click the submit button. Compare the numbers. Display the message the numbers are same if the numbers are the same. Display the message such as 3 is higher than 2 if the number are different. The code contains an incomplete JavaScript function. Amend the JavaScript function so that it compares the number, display the relevant messages. So once you're done with it, you need to save it as Q03 finished.html. Let's do this. So this is the code. These comments will basically guide you where you need to write your code. So the first thing is add your code here. So the message, we know that the numbers are same, means this number 1 and number 2 we have to compare it. So once we compare it, the condition we need to write over there. So that condition could help us to get the numbers, that is the numbers are same, means obviously you need to write the equation. We can write it as num1 is equal to num2. That's it. So this number 1 is equal to number 2. If it is yes, then it will alert the message that is the numbers are same. Else if number 1 is higher than number 2. This is the output statement we are getting over here. So our condition also should match that. So for that, what you do, you just write the condition as number 1 is greater than number 2. If it is yes, it will print this number 1 is higher than number 2. Else, then you need to add the code here. Else, what it will do? It will reverse it. So our message goes in this way. Message equal to num2. Just replace this. Is higher than. You can copy paste and then change it, or else you can type. Num1 is higher than, num2 is higher than num1. And then add your code to display the message. For displaying the message, over here in JavaScript we call it as alert. Then what we are alerting? We are just alerting this message. Okay, here there is an error. Let's resolve this error. Equal to num2. Okay, fine. Let's save it and try again. So 2 Yes, the numbers are same. Let's try with 3 and 2. 3 is higher than 2. Then let's write with 2 and then 3. 3 is higher than 2. Yes, that's all. So once you are done, you need to rename it as QO3C finished. So once you are done, you need to rename the file, and that's all. Next, open QO3D.html in your editor. The code must allow the user to input a last name and the first name. Click the add button to add the last name and the first name to the array. Click the display button to display the contents of the array of names. The code is incomplete. Amend the code to call the add name function when the add button is clicked. Add the last name and the first name to the array. Display the names in the array. Save your amended code as QO3dfinished.html. So this is your code. So here these comments will basically guide you what code you have to write and where. So just below the comment, follow the first instruction, that is add your code to store the first name value. They already gave here the last name, so refer that for the first name. We can create a variable f name. So you are getting the element by ID. For the last name, this is the ID. For the first name, this is the ID. You can copy paste it. Avoid errors, it is case sensitive. And you are fetching the value. Add your code to add the last name and the first name to the array. So first understand what is the name of the array. Here they already gave the name of the array. Let's take that. And we have to add inside the existing array. Let us consider the array as a stack. When you are adding the elements to the stack, you use the keyword that is push. Let us use the same way. Then open the brackets. So now we know when we look at the array, this is two-dimensional array. So here the entities will be 2. So how it should be? Last name and first name. So here last name is stored inside the variable lname. So arrays has to be written inside the square brackets. Then lname, comma, fname. Then over here inside the loop, add your code to display the last name followed by the first name. So in JavaScript, whenever they talk about the displaying, it's always about alerting. So you define alert, open the bracket. Inside this bracket, you need to define what you want to alert. So here you're displaying the last name followed by the first name. So whatever the names are there inside the array, you're displaying everything. So now let us write the name of the array, that is name array. Then this is two-dimensional. So let us consider the first row, that is the row starts from 0, and that 0 is defined inside the count. So let us write the first row name as count. Then there are 2 columns. So no matter, the rows will only change, the columns remain same. So that is 0 and then 1. At 0 you are storing the last name, at 1 you are storing the f name. So now count, that is row followed by the 0th column. Then let us add some space plus, then write the name array, same row but the column 1 where the f name is present. So once you are done with it, there is some error over here. Let's fix that error. So now we can see the head tag. There is a HTML tag. Let us check that we don't have a HTML tag. Let's add the HTML tag. You have to fix these errors before running the code, or else once you run the code you will get to know. So now over here there is a comment, amend the code to call the add name function. So whatever this add name function is there, you just need to copy it, and then here on click, there is nothing over here, over there you need to call this function. The way here display names is there, here it is add names. So once you add the names, then only it's going to display it. Let's run the code and check. Yes, you can see here the name has been added and it is also displaying. So yes, your output is done. Once you are done, you need to save this file as Q03D finished. Let me do that. Yes, I saved the file. Key press and key up are keyboard events. Explain one difference between the key press event and the key up event. Key press triggers while the key is pressed down. It represents the character itself. Suppose if you are pressing A, then you can see A. If you are pressing semicolon, you can see semicolon. So that is nothing but key press. Key up triggers after the key is released. So you are pressing something and just to leave the key, it releases, that is key up. It represents the action of releasing the key. So key press is nothing but it's while typing. Key up is nothing but after typing. Simple and worth the 2 marks. The name itself carries the meaning. And that completes task 3, JavaScript. We covered everything from regular expression validation and conditions to arrays and events. If you understand this section, you will easily score all 12 marks. Next, we'll dive into task 4, website layout and CSS integration, where we will design a complete page using a wireframe and color scheme. This is the section where most students drop marks because of the layout alignment, missing semantic tags or mismatched color codes. So now it's time for the big one, task 4. Everyone for sport needs a web page. A wireframe and style guide have been provided. Figure 5 shows a wireframe. A markup in PDF format can be found in the assets folder. So this is worth 20 marks. So every detail matters: HTML5 structure, external CSS, correct fonts, alignments, image width, color codes, and even hover effect. I will take you through step by step so we can match exactly what the examiner looks for. Let us start by creating a new file inside the folder that is Q04. So now go to file, create a new. So for saving the file, just check your question paper over here. They already gave you have to create an external HTML file and external CSS file with these names. So I'll go for the same name, Q04. I have named the new file as QOD finished.html. We'll be writing HTML here and we will be creating external CSS file. So we got here both the HTML as well as the CSS files. So let's start creating the page. First, as usual, you need to always start mentioning the type of the file. Doc type HTML. Open the HTML tags. And then you have head. Inside head, let us set some metadatas. So I'll go for 1 metadata. You can add how much ever you want. I'll just set the character TF8. You can add extra if you want. So let us add the title of the page. The title of the page is already mentioned in the question paper. Everyone for sport. Let us go for that. and then let us link the CSS file. Let us relate it to style sheet and refer it as, okay, my bad. Let me correct this CSS file name. Okay. Please be careful, don't make the mistake I made. Okay, the basic head part is done. Now let us go for the body. Inside body, let us start with this part. So now you can see this is nothing but it's a header. Let us open the tag that's header. Let us do one by one. The first thing is we'll add logo, followed by this heading, everyone for sport, and then we'll have everyone sport July competition, something for everyone, and then this hyperlink. Let us do one by one. Logo is the image. We have to open the image tag and give the source assets. We have an image here, logo dot. Let's save it. If you want, you can open the live preview and check how things are working. Okay, logo is here. So far so good. First let us do the HTML part and then we can go for the CSS, or you can do one by one properly. Let us first write HTML part of the header and then simultaneously we can go for the CSS. Then let us write the heading h1. I know you guys will be doing this coding part inside the notepad. It doesn't give you the same layout, but yes, the coding is same. Okay, so if you want to go and run for the live preview, you need to open the folder. Inside that you can see your HTML files with the default browser. You need to double click on it and then it will open that HTML file. From there you can check your preview, but as I'm using the brackets, I'll be getting it over here. I have a choice, but you guys don't. Let's add the hyperlink now. Let's see what instructions we have for hyperlink. Okay, so the text we need to follow is jump to times, and the hyperlink to the times paragraph on the times page. So now inside this Q4O folder, we have here times.html. So you need to refer to this page, to the paragraph present over here. So now we need to refer to this ID, to this page and this ID. So whenever the user clicks on jump to times text, they need to redirect to the times paragraph and times.html page. So how to do that? For that you need to open the anchor tags and provide the reference. First let us write the name of the file and then refer to the ID inside it, that is times. Now the text is jump to time. So let us test it if you want to see how it works. So now we have everything here. Now hyperlink is visible here. When I click on this, you can see directly it is moving over here. Though we have a lot of things on top, it is redirecting to only this part. That is what is being expected in your question. So until here, whatever the HTML we have done, let us fix it with the CSS and then we can move further for the content part. So open the CSS file. CSS file has been already linked here. So you can just go here and write the code. It will automatically get applied to the HTML page. How to do the CSS? What all things you have to do? The thing is, whatever is mentioned over here, these things are mandatory to do. Rest, whatever you want, you can do the changes, but your page has to look according to the wireframe. Rest is your choice. Let's start with the header. I'll just directly write the tag name over here. For the header, set the background color to cadet blue. Let's set the background color. So they already gave you the hex value. You can just directly write that. If you want to check how it's working, go to the live preview. Okay, so this is that cadet blue. So this part is done. Next, insert the logo image as shown. The image can be found in the assets folder. We already inserted it. And let us set the width of the logo image to 80. So now when we look at the wireframe over here, the text is all aligned at the center. This one we can arrange it later, but this text is aligned at the center. Let us generalize it and keep it text aligned to center. So now if you can see, there is a space over here. That space we have shifted the content inside. So let us push that content inside. For that we need to apply the padding. I'll just put it for 10 pixel. Okay, so far so good. Now let us focus on logo. Later on we will be adding more images. So now if I just open the image tag here and then apply the stylings, then whatever the images are later on, we will be using them. It will be applied to everything. So we need to avoid that factor. So for that, what we have to do is, in the HTML inside the image tag, either call up a class or you can create an ID. I will have a class over here as logo. Then I will use this class over here to apply the styling. So whatever the stylings I will be applying for the logo, it will be applicable to that only, not the other images inside the pages. So for the class we need to write dot defines the class, hashtag defines the ID. So I have defined the class over there. I will be writing it as dot and name of the class is logo. The width of the logo must be 80 pixel. And then it is at the left side. So let us add the float over here to the left. So this is how it is looking. So now we need to check with this text. This text is inside the h1 tag. So let us call up the h1 tag over here. If you want to call it specifically, then we can mention header inside that h1 tag, whatever is there. Suppose you are having multiple h1 tags later, so this can be applicable for only the h1 tag present inside the header tag. So this way also you can specify it. So now these are the stylings, mandatory stylings we have to do it for the h1 tag, that is the text, everyone for sport. Let us set the font size to 35 pixel. So font size 35. Font color. So for font color you just write it as color. The hex value was given, you can go for that. Then italicize and embolden the text. So for bolding you write it as font weight. You can keep it as bold. Then font style. For font style, we'll keep it italic. And then right align the text. So we'll align the text to the right. So let's save this and check. Yes, that's good so far. Next. This is done. Let us go for this. We already inserted the text. So the text is present inside header h2 tag. First thing, set the font size to 40 pixel. Font size to 40 pixel. Font color. So color of the text. Again, the hex value is given. We can go for that. And text align at the center. It is already aligned because we have already aligned it over here, but still you can write it over here. Yes, so far so good. This is done. Now let us go for this. That is present inside header h3. Font size 25. Font color and then text align to center. Yes, it's applied. Then let us go for the hyperlink. So we already added the hyperlink. It's inside header a tag. Font size, we need to keep the font size to 12 pixel. When we look at the wireframe here, jump to times is aligned at the left. So we'll align the text. So now the entire header part is done. So when we click on this, it's navigating to this page. Okay. So now we have to focus on this part. This is the main content of the page. Let us start over here. After header, come out of the header tag and then define the tag main. So now when you look over here, there are two columns. So these are nothing but these are the sections. So let us define those sections. And now we are defining the sections into columns. So let us call upon the class as column. Now let us focus on this column over here, the first one. So the first thing is there is a heading called Mini Olympics. So H3, we have used the headings until H3. Let us go for H4. It's a smaller. Based on the font size, you can choose what kind of heading you want to take. The heading is Mini Olympics. So now over here we need to add an image. The running.jpg changes to football.jpg when the user hovers over it. Okay, so when you open the page, the first image that has to be displayed is running.jpg, and then when the user hovers on that image, that time it has to change to football.jpg. So let us add the default image over here. Open the image tag, source. We are having here running.jpg, just take that. So now we already know that we need to provide an ID for this image. Let us do that. You can give it as Mini image. I'll go for mini image. You can name it as mini Olympics or whatever you want. That hovering part, we'll do it in the CSS later. So now over here it is written as mini Olympics 1.txt. So we do have a file over here, mini olympics.txt file. So this entire content has to be displayed over there. So now text file is an object. You are trying to bring an object into your web page in the form of paragraph. So now for that, first define the paragraph. Inside this paragraph, open the object, and the data you're calling in the object is, so it's inside the assets folder, right? Let us write the assets, mini olympics 1.txt. So that data you're getting it, bringing it over here, and the type of the file is text. It's a plain text, and then end the object tag. So let us check whether it's working or not. We got it. So after this we have the list. When you look at the bullet points, these list, it is unordered list. So let us define the unordered list as UL, and then let us add all these list items inside it using li tags. Let's go and check. Yes, so far so good. Once you're done with the list, now again here mini olympics 2.txt. Again it's an object, the same way what you did here. Let us do the same thing over there too. Just change the file name over here. So it's mini olympics 2. Rest everything remains same. Yes, we got the output over here. Now this section is done. First column is done. Now let us go for the second column. For the second column, let us create another section with class as column. So we have the text over here as last year's competition. We'll write it in the H4 tag. Then we need to add the image. So over here we are using the running image. Here they are asking for karate.jpg. Along with that we need to have the text, that is events.txt. From that file we need to bring up the text over here. First let us add the image. Image, define the ID now only. We can name it as last image. Then the source is from assets karate.jpg. And now we need to bring the data from the event.txt file. The same way what we did here, we have to do the same thing there. I'll just copy paste it, and then you can change the name of the file, events.txt, which is over here. Save it and check. So we got the text here. We have the final text, so we can use this as a class name as a final text, and we can look here, this is bold. So let's write here. Open the paragraph, define the class as final text. Let's keep it strong because it's bold. You can go for the strong tag, and then we. So now you can see we look forward to welcoming you all again, and please join. These are in a different lines. If you want that to happen, then you need to add the break statements. So how we do it? Let's write the first line. We look forward to welcoming. After that, add a break. That will take you to the new line. You all again, full stop. Then add a break. Please join us. Let's go and check. This is how it will look. So yes, that's done with your column part. Now let us go and add the CSS. So now we need to set the background color to this. So the entire thing is present inside the tag main. So let us set the background color of this to the hex given here. So this is what the color is. So now we already inserted 2 columns, but the background color of the columns must be tan. So now the columns have been defined inside the class. Let's start columns. If you're still confused, you can go and check here. It's column. Okay, my bad. So let us set the background color of it to, let us check. Yes, this is how it looks. So this part is done. Let us focus on this part. We already inserted the column headings to mini Olympics and last year competition. Let us set the font size to 20 pixels. So now inside the column, for the H4 tag, we need to apply the styling, that is font size to 20 pixels. Then align the text to the center. So text align to center. So yes, that's applied. Insert the running and football images as shown. The image can be found in the assets folder. So let us do this part. So the size of the image must be 410 pixels. Let us set that here inside the column image tags. So now when you look at the columns over here and when you look at the framework over here, the column has to be one beside the other. So in that case, this display, this form of display, we call it as flex. So let us go to the main part over here. Let's display the content in the form of flex. So yes, it's one beside the other. The height of this content is 510 pixels. So let us set the height. If you can see, the space is equally distributed. So we'll have to justify the content. Justify the content, that is space between them. Yes, there should be a space. And let us apply some padding for 10 pixels so the content looks nice. So we need to set the width of the column. Let us say the width must be 45 pixels. Just 40% of the screen. Just try it and check how it works. Based on that, you can change it. And then let us apply the padding for 10 pixels. And then if you can see the wireframe, there is a border around the column. Let us apply that border. Border is, I'll give it for only 1 pixel. It's a solid, there is no dash or nothing, it's just solid. So now when I look at my page over here, there is something wrong with this jump to times. It is at very lower So to fix this, what you can do is, let me try with the brick. Yes, it's fixed, so it's good. Okay, let's get back over here to the CSS. We will set the margin of the image to 0 and then auto, just to align it properly. Okay, just to keep it at the center and align it properly. That's it. Now let us change the image. Now let us go for the first one. When we hover the mouse on this image, it has to change to the football. Let us write a script for that. You can write it in CSS, but I'm going to show you how you can do it in the script. Let us create a constant image1, and then I'm going to call up the ID document dot. The name of the ID is mini image. Now once we call up that, we need to add the event listener. So the event is what? When you hover the mouse. So we write it as mouse over. What functionality it has to do? Dot source. You need to change the source of the image to. Take this copy. So this is for hovering the mouse. Once the mouse is out, then what it has to? It has to come back to the same image that is running. So for that, the event is mouse out. If the mouse is out, it has to come back to running.jpg. Let us try this and check. Yes, so it's working. Now let us fix the width of the karate.jpg. So over here you can directly write the width should be 205 pixel. The width of this image must be 410. These contents has to be at the center. Let us put them at the center. So inside the column, whatever the p tags are there, the text has to be aligned to center. Now let us go for the footer. In footer, you just need to add email your interest. That's it. So we need to set the paragraph. We missed that part. Let us add here. Font size of the paragraph must be 16 pixel. We already justified the text. And then inside the column, whatever the UL is there, so column font size must be 16 pixel. And then whatever the text is there, that is the final text over here, let us call the class final text, and that text font size should be 20 pixel. So class final let's save this. Yes, so far so good. Now let us deal with the footer. So once you are done with the main section, let us go for the footer. So now email your interest. The link has to be everyoneforsports@bb.com. So that's the email ID. So now for the email, it's a hyperlink. So let us write A, then give the reference. Mail to everyone for sports. this is the link, and the text is email your interest. And let us go to the CSS part. So inside footer, whatever a tag is there, we are just adding the styling to that. The font size should be 16. The font color should be the hyperlink, the hex value is already given, you can use that. So background color of footer is, let us add the background color for the footer. So this is your entire web page. You can check your wireframe. Once we check the wireframe, yes, it looks like the wireframe. This is the biggest scoring task of the paper. We have used HTML5 structure, external CSS, semantic tags, hover effects, and perfect alignment, all as per the official marking scheme. If your output matches the layout, you can easily secure full 20 marks in this section. Next, we will tackle task 5, JavaScript functionality and event logic. Let's go for the task 5. This task basically checks your ability to work with arrays, loops, numerical comparison, and DOM manipulation. Here the question is, everyone for sport wants to improve the functionality of this website. It wants to implement an event results page that displays the details of the athletics who took part in the 100-meter sprint event and the winner. A page that allows the user to select an event type and display information relevant to that type of event. All of these required files are supplied in the QO5 folder. No additional resources are required. You only need to add JavaScript and comment to the existing files. Event results page. Event results.html contains an early prototype. When the event results page is loaded, an automated method must display the details of the athletes who took part in 100-meter sprint. Find the athlete with the fastest time. Display the details of the athlete with the fastest time. Complete the prototype. You must add suitable comments to your code to explain how it works. Once you are done with everything, you can rename the file as eventsresultsfinished.html. And for the events page, events.html contains an early prototype. When the event page is loaded, the event type combo box is displayed. The track event combo box is hidden. The field event combo box is hidden. When an event type is selected by the user, an automated method must display the track combo box if the user selected the track event type. Display the field combo box if the user selected the field event type. Complete the prototype. You must add suitable comments to your code to explain how it works. Once you are done with this, you need to save the file as eventsfinished.html. So this entire question is worth 20 marks. Let us do one by one. Alright, everyone, let's walk through how this event result page works. You can find it below the QOY folder. There are two files here. First, let us deal with event results.html, and then we can move ahead with events.html. First, we start with an array called athletes over here, but notice it's not just a normal list. It's actually an array of arrays, meaning each row representing one athlete. This column represents athlete number. This is the school name. This is the name of the athlete and the race time. So the computer can easily store and access all their information. Instead of typing the table manually, we use the loop over here to write each row dynamically. So we start with the row 0, then we will take up what's the length, how many athletes are there. Until then, this row has to be generated. So now over here, there is a comment, add your code to write the athlete's name to the table. So now over here, when we look at the athletes, we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So there are totally 4 rows. Over here, 0 row is already mentioned, 1 is mentioned indirectly, 3 is mentioned. 2 is not mentioned over here. Let us write that row. So for that, you can just copy this, paste it here, and then just change the row to 2. So this loop basically repeats one time for each athlete and fills the table with the number, the school, the name, and the race time automatically. That's given over here. So the whole table builds itself when the page loads. Next, the variables are prepared over here in the script. Number of runners, fast time, athlete number, school, athlete, race time. Everything is defined over here. So fastest time over here, that starts with a big number like 100, so that any real race time will be smaller. The other variables store the winner details once we find them. So now let's come to the important part where the logic finds who ran the fastest. When we are talking about each athlete's time, in that case we have to use the loop, and it has to compare to the current fastest. So we'll start the example from 100. The first athlete runs 12.1. That becomes the new fastest. Everyone runs slower, so the winner stays the same. So let's start writing the code over here. There is a comment. This comment will basically guide you where you need to start writing the code. There is some error over here. Let us fix that. Okay, fine. These things you have to fix it. So each and every line in the code, please check it before proceeding. So we'll start with the loop. We'll go for the for loop. For variable, we'll start from 0. Initial value will keep it 0. And I value must be less than number of runners. How many runners are there? Until then the loop has to run. As we are starting from 0, your I value must be strictly less than number of runners. If your I value is starting from 1, then your I here, this condition goes less than or equal to number of runners. So please be careful while writing the conditions. And then we'll increment the value of I. Now let us focus on the race time of each athlete. So race time we have to update that race time, and then we will start comparing it. So how we will do it? First, we will go for each athlete. So for that, let us take the variable athletes, then 0th row, then the column third. So this will help us to get, if you look over here to the array, the third column is the one that's giving us the race time. So we will be focusing each row, third column. That will give us the race time. So initially I value starts from 0. So this value, I value, will be replaced with 0. 0 row, third column will be for the first one, that is 12.1 is your race time currently. Now once you are done with getting the race time, we will add the conditional statement for comparison. If race time is less than the fastest time. So fast time value is what it is, 100. Is it less? Are we checking? If it is yes, in that case update your fastest time with the race time. So now your fast time becomes 12.1, and then we will take up the athlete number. Which athlete is that? Because we need to update those details over there in your HTML page. So athletics, same thing, what you have written, but here we need to take up the athlete number. Athlete number is stored inside the column 0. So let us take that and store it inside the variable athlete number. Now we need the school information. School information of row I is stored inside the column 1. You can refer this over here. Okay, so the column 1 is having the school name and the column 2 is having the name of the athlete. So next, that is what we are going to know. Athlete name, row 0, and then column 2. This will give you the name of the athlete. So we are basically getting the details of the athlete if that is the fastest time. Else what it will do, first it will go and check with all the elements. It will compare all the elements inside the array. Then only it will update the fastest time inside the HTML page. So this is the way of finding the minimum value. Suppose you want to find out the maximum. In that case, your fastest time will start from the minimum value, that is 0. In that case, this becomes race time is greater than the fast time, like that. So as fast time, we will consider it as the highest and then we will check which is the lowest. These are the two different logics you can use. So I am considering the fastest time as the highest and I'll keep checking for the lowest value. Now this code basically knows who is the fastest runner. So once we get that fastest number, we will display their details in their text boxes. Well, let us check. I will save this. This is how your page is looking. Here we have to display those details. We already had the backend, we already have who is the fastest time, but now we need to display it over here. So we need to get the IDs of these text fields and then put the values over here. Let us do that part. Fastest value, fastest time is done. Okay, we need, when you look at the live preview here, 12.1 is the fastest time. We need athlete number, athlete and the school name. Let us get those values and put it over here. For that you need to follow the same thing. See, don't get stressed like how to do this JavaScript, I'm not aware of it. See, look here, they already gave you the reference. Like first one they will give you, second one you need to refer that and then just modify based on the requirement. So now fastest time is already displayed. Now I need athlete number. So for that, document dot get element by ID. So let us look at the ID for the athlete number over here. Fastest time, the ID is fastest. For the athlete number, this is the ID. Just copy paste it to avoid the errors. Okay, from that you're getting the value and then you're displaying it over there. So what the value present inside this variable, we will be displaying at that text field. Now let us do for the next one. The next one is what? Athlete name. Okay, so let us get the ID as name. Value. In this variable we are storing the name of the athlete, and after that the last one is the school. Which is stored inside the variable school. So let's save this and test the code. Yes. So you got here athlete number as 1, Mobin Treacher, Tunbridge Academy. The entire details is been fetched. This is clean, efficient JavaScript and exactly what examiners expect in the AS level IT paper. Event results is done. Let's close this and go for events.html. Let us run and check how does this look. So now what's our task over here? Display the track combo box if the user selected and the track event type. Display the field combo box if the user selected the field event type. So if I select the track here, I need to get the track details. If I select field here, I need to get the field details. That is what we are going to do over here. In this example, we need to basically check whether the user has selected the specified combo box or not. So the first combo box is the track. So we need to use the conditional statement to check the user selection. So if the option chosen, so options chosen is basically storing the event of the user. So what exactly the user has chosen, that is stored inside the option chosen. That should be equal to the track. If yes, then what you are doing, you are displaying the track events over there. So for that you need to, whenever you want to display anything in the HTML page, you need to first get the IDs. So where exactly you want to display. So document dot get element by ID. So for the track, definitely we need to go to the track events over here. So let us take that ID. Now set the style. We will display it in the form of block. So in that case, when the track events is displaying, the field event should not be displayed. So we'll set the style of that as none. We'll do the same thing for the fields too. If in this case, track events has to go none and the field event has to be displayed in the form of block. So let's check the code. So I will select the track. You can see the track over here. Now I select the field. Let me check if there is some error. Oh, it's just a field. I wrote fields. Yeah, I got discuss and javelin. Okay, that's all about your events. So now we need to rename both the files. I renamed both the files over here. So if you do this, you will be getting total 20 marks. Alright, let's move to task 6. Effective layout and visually appealing design enhance the user experience of the web page. A mock-up of the Everyone for Sport web page was provided as a PDF file in the Assets folder in question 4. Assess the effectiveness of the use of the design principles in this mockup. You should consider at least 2 of the visual hierarchy, flow, color theory, balance, and contrast. Refer to the evidence from the mockup to support your answers. This is 9-mark question and trust me, it's actually one of the easiest to score the full marks, as long as you explain the design choices clearly. So let's break it down into a simple and friendly way. Visual hierarchy. So there is a mockup file given inside the assets folder in Everyone for Sport, that is question 4 over there. You can go and check, open that PDF file. When you look at it, you need to explain the visual hierarchy, flow, color theory, balance, and contrast based on that. So now let us discuss about the visual hierarchy. When you first look at the page, your eyes automatically go to the top, the biggest title and the July competition heading. That's good visual hierarchy, and it follows something we call the F pattern, where users read across the top and then down the left. The important information is right where it should be. The only issue is that the right side doesn't stand out much. User might miss things there unless they purposely look it. So let's write the same way. Let us frame it properly and write it down. You don't need to write the way I wrote. You can frame your own sentences. Now let's talk about the flow. The flow is pretty good. Sections are placed in clean colored blocks so you can easily understand which piece of information is belong together. You can quickly see, oh, this is the mini Olympic session and this is a last year's competition. But one thing that doesn't work well is the rollover effect. There is no visual hint for the user to know they can hover there. So unless they accidentally roll their mouse over it, they won't discover it. So that is the problem of the flow. First, talk good about it. You can follow the sandwich method basically. Let's frame it properly. Now the next one is color theory. Now the colors are great. They are using complementary colors which are opposites on the color wheel. That's why the page has strong contrast and looks pleasant. The colors make the heading stand out and help separate different parts of the page. Next is balance and contrast. So when we look at the layout, it uses a mix of symmetrical and asymmetrical balance. The header and the footer are a bit uneven, which actually gives them some character, and the content columns in the middle are neatly balanced and making everything feel organized. Contrast is also used well. Different font sizes are there, different colors, good spacing, everything is color and it's easy to read. So this is the last question. Whenever your answer follows the next page also, just give an arrow mark over here just for the sake of safety. They already gave turnover, but still, let's be safer from our end. So once we define each entity separately, let us talk about overall. Let us give the overall summary. So overall the mockup is pretty effective. It communicates key information clearly. The colors and layouts work well and it's easy to follow. The only improvements would be making the right side a bit more attention grabbing and give the rollover element some kind of hint so user know it's interactive. That's it. And that's task 6, a nice high scoring question if you keep your explanation clean and structured. And that brings us to the end of the AS level IT Unit 2 June 2023 past paper. If you have watched till here, I really want to appreciate your dedication. You are already ahead of so many students. Just remember, every time you solve a past paper, your confidence grows and your speed improves and your understanding gets stronger. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep believing in yourself. You absolutely got this. And if you feel like you need extra support, whether it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Excel, or theory, I also offer personal one-to-one classes for students who want to focus attention and faster improvement. To register, just click the Google Form link in the description below, fill out, and our team will get back to you with all the details. Thank you so much for learning with me today. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep shining.